everyone, and welcome to Vlog Media Breeze. I am here this morning a little earlier than I normally am here. I'm usually here around 11:30 Eastern Time. It's about 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Next Saturday and the following Saturdays, I am going to be here just slightly earlier. I'm not sure which time I'm going to use, but I will go ahead and post it in my upcoming live stream information. Hopefully, you will get that on YouTube. Thank you for showing up. I have some news for you today. But before that, I want to, do what I usually do. I want to share my screen with you, my Instagram with you. So here we go. Let's share. And then I'll put the Instagram down at the bottom of the screen so you can see it here shortly. We're going to talk about R. Kelly. I'm going to go through some more of the transcript. Some of it is very shocking. And I want to talk to you just about my thought process. Again, a lot of people say opinions. It's the same thing. My thought process is my opinion. And I want to talk to you about my thoughts about the FBI and the feds and, law enforcement and the Black community to a degree. And I want to hear some of your thoughts on that as well. I have set my chat so that it is subscribers only can chat. I did that intentionally because I keep getting a lot of rude adults, adults who are still juvenile and have not really had any home training, were probably latchkey, and just as adults don't know how to treat other adults with respect. So let's see here. I want to go ahead and just share this with you. A lot of things going on Instagram. I love to share this with you on Saturday morning. And here is part of it. Let's see here. Where did I get to? I'll get to that one here shortly and that one too. But here is, well, no, that's D.L. Hughley. So here's Kimmy and Maurice. Look at them. That's, they got married probably at the right stage in life at a time where, in terms of age and career and experience, really has mended that relationship, you know? So I think I see them being married for decades, you know. But this is Wendy. She is bringing it, you guys. There are a lot of people who dislike Wendy, and they are actually other Black Americans, which is shocking to me. Uh, For some reason, our people don't like people who look like them most of the time. And I'm not saying that we are always in the right or we are always in the wrong, or, I know that we all have our own thought processes about how we think of people. There are some people, and I'm not going to say his name, but he's married to a light-skinned woman on YouTube, and he just tends to bring down the dark-skinned women all of the time. Wendy is beautiful. Leave her alone. Look at her. She is carrying that dress to eternity. Okay? She's gorgeous. She looks really good. And I even put it here, as you can see, gorgeous couple, 100 in the heart. 100% gorgeous, 110% if they had it there. This is something that D.O. Hughley has put. I love D.O. Hughley. I follow him. I don't know what this woman's talking
It
about, but
shouldn't
let's listen.
be a choice between a personal health care decision and, the job that we love.
You would lose your job over this.
Obviously, it's heartbreaking. It's almost like a grieving process, to tell you the truth.
Andrea Babinski is among the tens of millions of Americans who are eligible to get vaccinated against COVID-19, but haven't. And what's more, she's been a nurse at Gunderson Health System in La Crosse, Wisconsin for more than 12 years.
Ever since this mandate came down, many, many more people are quitting and leaving healthcare in our specific hospital. And
So I'm going to
we're
go
not
ahead
just
and get
talking
through
the
that.
nursing department.
I think that you guys are aware that is happening. And I want you to tell me, what do you think about Biden forcing people to be vaccinated? What is it about this, you know, this virus that makes him want to force people to be vaccinated? Let me know what you think about that. Here is Letitia M. Scott. Look at her. Now, don't you have to ignore her voice and look at her look. She's gorgeous. Absolutely phenomenally beautiful. Okay, and that's her hair. But Letitia has long hair. I've talked to people in Huntsville. They say she has long hair naturally. So for those of you who think she's all weave, that's not true.
Are they gonna be low down? Are they gonna be around? What about your friends?
Listen, she's feeling herself. Two master's degrees and an
What
undergraduate.
about your friends?
Anyway, there she is. Okay, so and this is a California law that's passed to keep uh law enforcement from being hired again. This is the last one I'm going to show. This is Janet Jackson. I follow Janet Jackson. Listen, back in the day in the 80s, this was my idol. I went to 3 of her concerts all in the 80s. Okay? Hello. I mean early 90s. I'm sorry, early 90s. But she started in the late 80s really with Control. And listen, the girl was off the chain. Till this day, Beyonce, in my humble opinion, has nothing on my Janet Jackson, dare I say. But watch this. She likes this stuff.
And I'm feeling good. And I'm feeling
Okay, you guys. That's enough of my Instagram. I like to share that on Saturday morning with you. So let's get down and talk about what it is I have come on here to talk about. I hope you guys have your coffee. I still am not doing I've done a couple of maybe 2 caramel macchiatos, but I'm still doing ginger water. I'm still feeling not strong remnants of the COVID, but I'm still feeling it to some degree. It feels like it's lingering, and I'm praying it out as I'm going to do right now. Because people do not like to hear God's name. I love God's name because He is our creator. And I was reading my scripture this morning, and it says that God reigns forever. Okay? He reigns forever. So all praises and glory and honor to my Father in heaven and to the Lord Jesus Christ, who is seated at his right side, and may he bind up all evil from this YouTube channel, Vlog Media Breeze. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again and talk to you about R. Kelly. And you guys can get down in the comments and let me know what you think of as I go through this. I did the previous video shows his picture, and that's when I first started going through the transcript because I want to understand it. As I said before, I have some ideas about R. Kelly that are not pertinent to the majority of the people. And that caused me to want to take a look at transcripts to see if I was being prejudgmental myself and also to see if I was justified in my thought process. I want to know what is going on. And so here we go. So, close out of that. Um, this right here, we went through 1 through 5. If you want to do 1 through 5, you can go back to the previous video. Now we're going to start with 6, and then I'm going to go through to 12, okay? I'm going to read it to you, and you can take it as you will, and I will give my thought process as I read and even after I read. And you all can get in the chat and talk about your thoughts on it. 6 says Kelly and other members of the enterprise also arranged for women and girls to travel to see Kelly on occasion, including at concerts throughout the United States and related events. To facilitate their travel, Kelly directed the women and girls to contact a member of the enterprise who then arranged travel for the women and girls. When the women and girls arrived at the lodging, which was typically selected by a member of the enterprise. A member of the enterprise usually provided them with instructions. Notice how they are using that term enterprise. They have to use it here because they are trying to get him on the RICO Act. And the RICO Act, you have to be in an enterprise. In addition, members of the enterprise took steps to ensure that the women and girls did not interact with other women and girls whom Kelly planned to see. Members of the enterprise then arranged for the women and girls to attend his concerts and positioned them such that Kelly could see them during his concerts. Something just came into my mind about enterprise. Can you actually call him an enterprise if he never had an LLC or a corporation? Did he ever designate himself and his entourage and those around him as a LLC entity or a corporation entity or something like that? Number 7, Kelly promulgated numerous rules that many of his sexual partners were required to follow, including the following. So they're saying he promoted this and that this was widely known. Okay. Um, so he did this openly, basically, is what they're saying. He promulgated numerous rules that many of his sexual partners were required to follow, including the following. I've got to get in the habit of not using the S word on YouTube because I think you cannot use it. I'm not sure. I'm going to start saying S for the term that I just used, including the following. The women and girls were not permitted to leave their room without receiving permission from Kelly, including to eat or go to the bathroom. Wow. The women and girls were required to wear baggy clothing when they were not accompanying Kelly to an event or unless otherwise instructed by Kelly. Now, are there video cameras anywhere showing these women wearing the baggy clothing? Are there, because if they were at a concert, I know that concert venues have video camera if you're inside of a coliseum or a civic center or inside of an event area where there is a concert. There is normally video. Outside, I'm not sure. Okay, let's go ahead. The women and girls were not permitted to look at other men and instead were told to keep their heads down. And the women and girls were required to call Kelly daddy. Really? The enterprise operated within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, including overseas. This is where they get him for what is known as S trafficking or minor trafficking. This means they brought in girls. And how did they prove that the enterprise brought in these girls into the Eastern District of New York? Is it just merely the girls' testimony, or do they have some concrete proof that these girls were brought into the Eastern District of New York? Right here it says, and I'm not an attorney. Let me start off by saying I'm not an attorney, and everything that I say is alleged in terms of my opinion and my thought process. It is all alleged. I'm reading the transcript, though, which is not alleged because this is an indictment transcript. And as I shared with you before, I got it through something called Court Listener, and I need to hashtag them on the description of this video. I got it online. Court Listener is associated with the Library of Congress, where they hold case laws and a lot of other things, but this is part of a transcript indictment, so it's there. Methods and means of the enterprise. This is the heading, and then everything under this are the enterprise's methods and their means. Among the means and methods by which Kelly and his associates participated in the conduct of the affairs of the enterprise were the following. And you see how they have these. See, this is why, guys, when you're in eighth grade and your eighth grade teacher is teaching you to do an outline, this is it right here. You need to know how to do an outline, okay? Okay. Lowercase a. Like, committing, attempting, and aiding and abetting the commission of crimes. Conspiring to commit crimes, including but not limited to engaging in S activity with girls under 18 years old, engaging in and facilitating sexual activity, S activity, without disclosing a S transmitted disease. Kelly had contracted and producing child pornography. Um, there's a lot just in this A, you guys. When you hear law enforcement using abetting, that's never good. That is never good. You don't even have to be involved in it to be abetting it. And also conspiring. This says a lot. And even this last one, they're saying that he transmitted S diseases onto these young ladies. B, demanding absolute commitment to Kelly and not tolerating dissent. C, obtaining sensitive information about members and associates of the enterprise to maintain control of them. You guys, this happens right here every day in corporate America. I'm just thinking about what I'm going through in corporate America. Maybe I'll add that to my case. You know, they've obtained sensitive information about me in order to maintain control over me. They are following my every single move, guys. I digress. D, recruiting and grooming sexual partners, S partners for Kelly, and isolating women and girls from friends and family and making them dependent on Kelly for their financial well-being. So is it that they were isolating women and girls when it has been alleged that some of those girls' mothers and fathers drove them to his home? And in one case, they're saying the young lady left and went back home, was at home, and the mother drove her back. And I don't know if they said 4 hours or 8 hours, but it was a substantial amount of time in terms of drive time. So how is that isolating them? Okay, I'll go on. So that's what they have determined are the methods and the means of the enterprise. Okay. So now the defendant, this is all they put here about him. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, was the leader of the enterprise. Did he have a manager? Because normally in that industry, you have a manager. And unlike corporate America, in the entertainment industry, your manager, you boss your manager. You tell your manager what to do. But your manager does give you direction. So these are the last two I'm going to read right here. And next time I'll get into, probably on Monday, this Racketeering Act 1. Count 1, this is count 1, racketeering. And you guys, racketeering is fraudulent all the way around. When you hear that word, you ought to run. Even if you're inside of a place and someone says the word leave, I mean, run as far as away as you possibly can. It is just complete deceptive, dishonest, just fraudulent business dealings all the way around. When I think of racketeering, I think of uh, certain movies, The Godfather Part Two. I think of what was the movie with Sharon Stone and Robert De Niro, where he was involved in racketeering. It's all bad all the way around. It's a horrible word. It's not even a tainted word. It, it it's it's just culminated with just bad things. Okay, so here 11. The allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 10 are re-alleged and incorporated as if fully set forth in this paragraph. So rather than repeating everything above that they just said, what they're saying is everything we just read also goes under count 1, racketeering. 12. In or about and between January 1999 and the present, both dates being approximate and inclusive, within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, the defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, together with others, being a person employed by and associated with the enterprise, an enterprise that engaged in and the activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce, did knowingly and intentionally conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity as defined in Title 18, United States Code Sections 1961, 1 and 1961, 5, consisting of the racketeering acts set forth below. So I'll go over that on Monday. The rest of them, I have a busy day ahead of me, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. I do want to say in this number 12, whenever they say these dates, they are really covering themselves, approximate and inclusive. Okay? So they're like in or about. So they have gone all the way back to 1999. And this is the language that they are using. You guys, they get you on this language. It's just, and then they say activities which affected interstate and foreign commerce. This is a huge indictment. But let me go ahead and say that this is the important word, right? Alleged, allegations. These are the things they are alleging. So they're not saying he did them, they're alleging. But then recently, we know in the court case, he has been convicted of some of these things. I want to know, where the heck are these attorneys? You could tear this whole thing apart. I can tear it apart, and I'm not even an attorney. I am not even an attorney, and I can tear that case apart. Um, I just wanted to go over that, and if you have anything that you want to say about it, I will put the link in and allow you to come on board. I'll go ahead and drop the link for anyone who wants to come on board. Let's see here. I, of course, learned how to do that in my last screaming. So there is the link. And I'm going to also share my Instagram here with you. I want to say something about this because transcripts run deep, right? And the people who document these allegations are professionals. And I understand that if you want to lock someone up, you want to get them. And even what we have heard about R. Kelly, and I've only heard about him through the media, These are all the things I've heard. Everything that is there, I've heard. So, did the authors of this transcript take what they had heard in the media and just put it on paper? And they knew they had to use alleged. And I believe, I don't know what to believe at this point, but I do believe that whenever a young lady admits, and I have to say alleged, admits that her parents, she was at home, her parents drove her right back to his place. And she's one of the main characters in this whole process. So that's not isolating her. Why is it not okay to go after the parents who put their daughter in this predicament? And you have all of these other allegations, and some of them his ex-wife have put out there. I remember her in an interview saying something about she wasn't able to leave the house at some point, allegedly. So this is a difficult case. And then I listened to the Gayle King interview with the young lady called Azriel Clary. And part of that interview, the young lady said that in the last interview they had done with Gayle King on CBS, R. Kelly had just finished his interview at that same time. And her and another young lady, I think Jocelyn, were waiting to come out, which gave opportunity to Kelly. When his interview ended, he went back and told them, she's saying that he told them, listen, you're going to have to get angry. You're going to have to get angry at them. So he was telling them what to do for his own narcissistic needs. Um, that's all I have for him right now on the R. Kelly case. I want to go ahead and say to you guys, and I say this in every video, and I have a way now that I'm not even going to use YouTube or Google to get the information out, but I have an issue with Google. I have a huge issue with Google. It's a class issue. And I've already started putting some things out there. I worked on them this week and sent them out. Waiting on some replies from other YouTubers. And I did not communicate with the YouTubers through use of Google or an email because Google has hacked my computer. Allegedly, I have to say allegedly, even though I do not believe it is allegedly. Um, and they are doing things to my videos they're using a different algorithm to keep my videos from being seen, and they use that algorithm on other videos as well. So a lot of people out here talking about algorithms. You need to go somewhere and study it so you'll know you can make the algorithm do whatever you want to make it do if you know the language, and they know the language very well. I digress. So I was going to talk to you also about Biden, and I didn't have enough time to gather the information because I got caught off guard. I had to go do something else this morning. So I'm going to save that probably for Monday as well, whenever I talk about R. Kelly again. I also want to back up a little bit and pause and say one of the thought processes I wanted to add, one of my thought processes I wanted to add to the R. Kelly transcript this morning is the it's really weird how the FBI and the government and law enforcement are very good at setting up Black men and Black women. They're very good at doing that, and they use other Blacks in their uh, entities to do so as well. So it's not just white FBI; it's the Black slave drivers as well. And they put all of that together. And I agree with going ahead and pushing forward with people who are criminals, regardless of your color. But there are white people out there that they don't go this in depth for, who commit crimes. There are white people who commit crimes and they do not go this in depth. If you look at my previous video, I have a video about a young black male who was recently murdered in Bend, in someplace, someplace in the Midwest. Whenever I think Bend, I think South Dakota. I'm not sure. Let me see where Bend is real quick. Maybe it's Oregon. Yeah, I think it's Oregon. At any rate, the person who murdered him is caught on video and is now free. And law enforcement are not doing anything to locate him. They're not doing anything to locate him. In Oklahoma, a few months ago, another black male who has a wife and 5 children in his family, a white burglar broke into his home. He shot the burglar. They arrested the black male. You guys, you're going to have to utilize your resources in your state. You're going to have to galvanize within your states, galvanize an organization of people, and you're going to have representation in your state governments about what is happening. And you're going to have connections with the media, and you're going to have to create some other entities, maybe create your own booklet that you send out or your own website. You're going to have to do something civil to push uh, these issues ahead, because this is still slavery, quite frankly. We may all be free and we're not hogtied to any trees, but there are blacks who have been, even during the pandemic in California. 3 black males hung. Something is wrong with the mentality of something's wrong with a person who does that, you guys. Don't you see? Something is very wrong within a culture of people who are that angry at another culture of people for their race. That's ungodly. And they have the audacity to think that they are even going to be in the kingdom. I dare say they will not even see a hint of the kingdom. What they're doing is worse than against the law in the eyes of God when you read your Bible. And they are unrepentant. So I just had to say that to you. And the last thing, I think that's all actually that I'm going to bring to you guys today. So you have a great Saturday, and I look forward to seeing you. Love and Mary Huntsville comes on tonight. So I'm excited to see that. I'll be on here tomorrow giving a review on Love and Mary Huntsville. And also tomorrow night, it's the Real Housewives of Potomac. So I will be on doing a review of that on Monday. And you guys take care. Enjoy your weekend. Many blessings to you.